Education matter? Well, not to the Labour government in Wales. Oh, God, no. They're going to take tens of millions away from educating young people and put it into climate change measures. All the while, the Chinese are building 80 great, massive, monster coal-fired power stations every year. It makes no difference. Climate change measures take money from the poor, give it to the rich, make no difference at all, and the education of young people in Wales can suffer. Labour in Wales are useless, and if that's what we've got with the Keir Starmer government nationally, boy, we're in for a real treat.
Welcome back everyone to the Working Class Revolt, and before we talk about the clip we've just seen, can I ask a huge favour, and that is, can you please like, share and especially subscribe? We're being a new channel, only going a few months. It's so important that you subscribe so more and more people can see these videos. And today I want to discuss the clip we've just seen. So Nigel Farage makes the claim that the Welsh government are taking tens and tens of millions of pounds from education for young people and instead spending it on climate change. Now, I've looked and looked for this story everywhere and I can't find anything whatsoever. But I'll tell you one thing, I 100% believe Nigel Farage when it comes to a credible news source. So I'm going to take this story at face value that it's true, it fits in with the Labour Party, and it more so fits in with the Welsh Labour Party that seem to be even more left than Keir Starmer's Labour Party, if that's even possible. And he also makes the comparison to China. So why the Welsh government are taking tens of millions of pounds from education, one of the most important things, along with the NHS that you can spend money on, possibly defence, they would spend that on climate change. And that would be, in their eyes, to try and save the world. But remember, as we mentioned time and time again on this channel, the United Kingdom only uses less than 1% of CO2 emissions, where China, for instance, is building around 80 coal stations a year. I did not realise they was building coal power stations to that amount, 80 every single year. Along with America, Russia, they make up a whopping amount of our CO2 emissions. So even if the United Kingdom, which this is impossible, went to naught, it would make no impact whatsoever on climate change. Now, the bigger point is this. If we have a population of older people who are struggling to heat up their homes and unfortunately are dying in bigger numbers because they just can't afford it, is it right to, even if this did save the world, is it right to do so? And that's the argument. So I don't think whatever the United Kingdom do will make a difference to climate change. I'm not going to get into whether I believe climate change is man-made or whether I think it's just natural, because the argument for me comes down to the fact of, do you make your population more poorer and make them struggle? And when did we ever get a say in what happens? So let's pretend the United Kingdom could get to zero and it made very, very little impact on the world stage and the full amount of CO2 emissions. What is the risk? Is that worth the risk of people dying? And not just people dying, everybody who is at the bottom of the food chain struggling to heat their house up. So at this moment in time, I must admit, someone who has two jobs, I have a job as an independent counsellor where I get a part-time wage, and I have a full-time day job as a plasterer. I struggle to pay my gas and electric every single week. There are people out there who are on a fraction of what I am. People who are on just universal credit, might be a single mum, might be a single dad. How will they pay their gas and electric? But yet we're told all the time off the governments, but we're saving the planet, we've got to do this or we're all going to be extinct. So to me, I think, and this is quite controversial, well, I don't think it is controversial, but some people it is, I truly believe that we also should be building coal plants in order to use them coal plants to make gas and electric and give cheap gas and electric to the people of the United Kingdom. That's first and foremost what we must do, is look after our own. The people, the working class people with no money, the elderly people, and even the middle class people and people with money, they still don't deserve to be paying over the odds on gas and electric. And then we look at technology, and we may make money off selling things like coal, and we can use some of that money to invest in better technology and make sure that the technology that we are going to use is better and it is affordable, and slowly move over. Because let's be honest, everyone would much rather see environmental friendly energy. Everybody's an environmentalist. Nobody wants to see any harm being done to the planet whatsoever. And Nigel Farage makes one last point, and he says with climate change we always have money coming from the poor to the rich. Now what Farage is talking about there, and he's absolutely spot on, is when anything happens with climate change, you look at the ULEZ in London, or in Manchester now with the Mayor Andy Burnham is trying to pass a tax where if you drive a van, or in London any vehicle under a certain age, you'll be taxed around £10 a day for driving your car. So let's look at what people can't afford over a 16 reg vehicle. It's people who are poor, so they're the ones who pay for climate change. Farage is absolutely right. Now what does he mean when he says that money then goes to the rich? So people might be confused, think, well, why does it go to the rich? It's going to green energy. Who owns the green energy? Who owns the wind turbines? Who benefits from things going green? So you may remember at one time we had the free boiler grants going around, and every company couldn't wait to try and get you to have a different boiler. They didn't care whether the boiler was better than what you had. They didn't care about how long it would last. They just wanted to get hold of that government grant. And this is what happens any time the government try a new scheme. You get companies popping up here and everywhere, very similar to the face mask during COVID, and they pop up everywhere just to try and make the money. Even if the government's intentions are good, you will get cowboys and you will get people who are rich getting even richer. There was many claims at one time about wind turbines and David Cameron's dad having something to do with it. I can tell you now in Greater Manchester there's a lot of speculation about the mayor and a relation of his making some money to do with the I think it's the cameras that are going up, or the signs or something like that. Again, speculation, what people say. I'm not saying on this channel that it's absolute fact, and we'd have to have a look at what Andy Burnham's declared. But people always make money off these schemes, so that is where the poor pay the money, and it goes to the people who already have money, and the friends of politicians and the friends of people in power who then make even more money. But Nigel Farage is absolutely spot on again. So what is your thoughts on the Welsh Government ploughing money into climate change, and are they taking it from education, as Nigel Farage says? Please like, share and subscribe, and once again thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.